Hey, everybody. Welcome to Campfire Chats with Eric and guest. I hope everybody's having a good day today. I was talking to Ray just before the show started, and he's been out trout fishing. He's lucky. He's getting out there and getting her done. Yeah, I just stayed here and barbecued some brats and smoked some macaroni and cheese on the grill. That was about the extent of mine so far, besides doing a little research. So, I just want to hit a couple things up before we get deep and dirty into this. If you guys missed William's show this morning, it was a really good show. You can go on YouTube and find it right there on his YouTube channel. And I will not be on with him tomorrow morning. I have got a fundraiser that I'm doing, a motorcycle show and swap meet. So I won't be on tomorrow morning on the show, but I recommend that you go and find him. And then if you're in the Springfield area after the show's done, come down and Shrine Mosque and see me. Um, and on top of that, just a heads up again, March 15th, the docu-series that I'm a part of, Byways of Bigfoot with Linda Eastburn, is coming out. So if you're interested in seeing some of the stuff of the Byways of Bigfoot, which is focused around the Bigfoot activity around the Niagara River, go to her YouTube channel right here, and you'll be able to see it come March 15th. Now, as long as everything goes right, I should be having a show tomorrow night. I am going to be doing one on Bigfoot, but I cannot talk about my personal stuff on that one there because of the docu series. So, with all of that good stuff out of the way, how is everybody doing today? Besides, I know the lucky dog Ray there getting to go fishing. I ain't even got to go fishing yet. He's sitting there going fishing. You need to catch a 300 pounder for me, Ray. That's what you got to do, buddy. um, I know one thing I want to touch on. I said this yesterday whenever I was going live when I was working on my new book that I'm working on. I just released the commercial out on my social medias on it. And yeah, I feel you, Ray. The new book that I was working on it yesterday while I was live. So, I always tell you guys I have my guest. And my guest, which is Bigfoot, um, they're pretty routine, I guess would be a good way to put it. They're usually here same time every year, same stuff. I mean, activity has increased, but I can't talk too much about that. I've noticed though, if you guys recall, and I've talked about it on my show a few times, I've talked it on William's show a few times about what I call the mimic, because I don't know exactly what it is. I just know what it was doing, and it was mimicking my dogs. Uh, Watch out, bud. Uh, Heck yeah, Ray. Yeah, I need to get out and do mine too. But anyway, since that whatever that was that's been coming around here has been here, I have noticed that the wildlife activity around my area has greatly diminished. Between sick, work, and hurt, I haven't been out in 2 months to check my game cams. I have two that go to my phone, and I have two that I go out and I swap out the SIM cards on. So, as you recall, when I was talking last weekend, I kind of overpushed it a little bit, coming off this knee injury, and went out in the woods and was replacing SIM cards and batteries. So I went through all of the images on there. So between my phone, the two game cams I have to go to my phone, and between the two game cams I have on the property that I swap out memory cards on, in 2 months I've had a total of three hit of any kind of wildlife, or five altogether. Three of deer. Sorry. So three hits with deer, and two other times was once was a squirrel and the other one was an armadillo. And for my property, that is not normal. My property is Grand Central Station for wildlife. Everybody crosses through here and comes through my property. That's why I love it so much. Is I have all the game that I want to eat comes through my property all year round. So between that and me noticing that I have not had any sign of my guest lately, really confirms that what I was dealing with was probably nothing good. Uh, I could be wrong. It could be a coincidence. It could be something else. I'm not going to sit there and dispute that. But it's just odd that the only thing that's been changed out of 31 years of living here was that thing that was stalking me a month ago. So I don't know what other people's thoughts are on that, but that's one of the things that I've had going on here lately. The paranormal activity, for some reason, has really dwindled down. I haven't had a whole lot of it, actually, very minimal, if anything at all. I mean, it's so minimal that I haven't even noticed it or picked up on. I still feel something from time to time here, but far as actual activity, I've just not really had anything. So I don't know if this little new thing on my property, if that's from it or not. I don't know. Could be all coincidental. Could be something else. Who knows? So, and one thing I want to do too also is any of my new subscribers, I thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. I appreciate it. It means the world to me. There's so many people out there you can follow, and you come here and listen to my old fluffy butt. This is just the campfire chats, Ray. This is basically where we come on, and anybody who's got an encounter they want to share, we can share it in the chats. If you want to come live, I'll send you a link, and we'll get you on here live, and we just kind of talk about our encounters or experiences. This is basically this show here is a lot like sitting around the campfire, smoking and joking, just telling stories. Is the oh, you guys, we just got a live update on something here. So I don't know how much I'm allowed to talk about this. I've been talking with Corey about this. That confirms it. Ah, I do not have permission to share what Corey and I have been discussing the last 2 days. But he showed me something, and he just confirmed what I thought it was. I'll end up texting him in her in a second. So well, I can give you. I think it'd be all right if I give you like a short detail of it. He sent me a possible mud fossil, and I told him what I thought it was. Well, I emailed Roger with Mud Fossil University and showed him the pictures and asked him, and he just literally just replied to me right now. So I'm replying back to Roger real quick. That is awesome. I know Corey's going to be excited to hear about this news. Hey, Corey, I was just talking about you, buddy. I literally just got a reply from Roger on that thing we were talking about for the last couple days, and the this is word for word what Roger told me, Corey. I was back to text you, buddy. Almost 100% certain finger. If Corey doesn't mind, I mean, I can bring him on, or he can talk about what we're talking about in chat. I don't want to share too much of what he's got going on because I don't have permission to do that on live right now. But yeah, so yeah, so there you go, buddy. Yes, actually good timing. He literally just emailed me just before you came in. I was actually replying to him whenever you came in. That's awesome. Uh, I can show the pics. Okay. Let me get in here and I'll download this and show you guys what Corey and I was talking about. Do you want to come on, Corey, and talk about it some? Or, I mean, it's up to you if you want to, bud. I'll get these downloaded real quick. I'll wait to see if he wants to come on and talk about it. If not, I can just show him and talk about it. It's no big deal. Because this is his story, so it's up to him if he wants me to tell it or if he wants to. That's one thing I love. This is what this show's about, actually. So I mean, you guys are getting real time stuff right now of things that I'm helping people with. Okay, no worries, and I'll talk about it. I'll talk about it, bud. So Corey's friend, I'm not going to go into names. We're just going to say Corey's friend had found something, and Corey sent it to me yesterday. Now, truth be told, when I was looking at it, I was driving, so it was a quick look. My first thought was toe. When I got home and actually had a chance to look at the pictures, I realized this is not a toe. So the first image is this right here. You can kind of see where it's flat, and I'll get in more detail on that here in a minute. So you're looking at this. This is what he's found, and then you roll it over, and you see that. What are your guys' opinion that's watching tonight? What do you think? We're looking at right there, and I'll give you a better picture right here. This was the object that uh, I've been helping Corey with. Although I guess I already said what it was, didn't I? This, ladies and gentlemen, is what you call a mud fossil. And this is a mud fossil of a finger to a giant. Yeah, right, Scott. You're absolutely right, buddy. You're absolutely right. This, ladies and gentlemen, if you remember some from my regular shows on my the bizarre and unknown that I do every Sunday, I've talked twice now about stone giants, and I had a show where um, Jesus Payon Jr. was on. You know, Jesus Payon Jr. from Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, and he's been in like 50 other movies. Phenomenal guy to follow. I'll share his YouTube here later on. Highly recommend to go find his breaking documentaries and breaking Bigfoot stories on YouTube. But ladies and gentlemen, there it is in the flesh live, a mud fossil of a finger to a giant. And this is the kind of stuff I love. This is why I do what I do, is getting stuff like that, because this is all part of this channel, the bizarre and the unknown. Yeah, that's exactly right, Ray. Let me pull up that close up of the fingernail, bud. And that's why whenever I sit down and looked at this, you can see the cuticle of the fingernail where the skin wrinkles up around the fingernail. You can see the fingernail. You can see the damaged fingernail tip. Now, when I was talking about flat spot earlier, and this is what I kind of was talking to Corey about, you got to think when the gods flooded the earth and destroyed the giants, they were encased with you know mud, basically. I can't remember the term off the top of my head. So any part of the body that may have been laying flat, when it decomposed before it as it started to decompose before it fossilized, it's going to be flat. Now, you generally in the flat areas is where you're going to find gold, silver, iron, stuff like that, because it all sinks down. And as the body decomposes, the gravity pushes down upon it. You're going to have flat spots like that. So when you find a mud fossil like that and it's flat, generally that was the part that was laying on the ground. And if you guys want to learn more about mud fossils and somebody who can explain it, hey, David, a heck of a lot better than I can, follow Roger on Mud Fossil University on YouTube. Look up that. And that was the gentleman I was talking about just a minute ago. When it comes to mud fossils and giants and dragons and a lot of the man is a fountain of information. I've been kind of talking with him. I'd love to get him on my the Bizarre and Unknown channel sometime to talk about this stuff. But that's why I reached out to him, and Corey had asked me to because I wanted to know for sure. I mean, that's just a heck of a find. So, getting back in here, like I was saying on this one here, you can see the folds of the skin around the cuticle of the fingernail. You can see the fingernail. You can see the fingertip. You can see the where his fingertip had been damaged. And I mean, on this one here, like I said, you can see all the wrinkles of the skin. You know how your skin has different formations and does different things. You got all this into this picture right here. Um, that's cool, Corey. Yeah, that's really cool, bud. I never knew it as mud fossils. Like you and me have talked a time or two. Um, when Ozzy Sue turned me on to Roger at Mud Fossils, I was excited because that's the thing I've been telling people for years. I just never called it mud fossils. I was just like they're petrified remains of what was here before. And that's what I've always called it. Um, so I mean that's cool. I mean that friend of yours who found that was a really good find, a very good find. So I mean that was cool. I mean, what's your guys' thoughts and chats on them pictures? That did make me happy though. He confirmed a lot of stuff to help you out. Hey, David, did you get a chance to see them pictures I was just showing? Yeah, yeah, it does. I remember you saying that, buddy. I remember you saying that. It does. It certainly does. He's lucky, man. I would love to find something like that. I really would. That's a heck of a find. Out here, it's hard to find stuff like that because everything's so wore down. These Ozark Mountains have been here for so long that everything's so wore down. So it's hard to find something as in great shape as that was or that is. But of course, like I said, I mean, when I first looked at it, I was driving, so I mean, I just took like a split second look. I'm like, oh, that's a fossilized toe. And then I got home and I was looking at it, and he messaged me. All right, I'll show you real quick, David. This is stuff that Corey sent me, and I'll get your opinion. I'll let you look at that for a second, and then I'll switch to the next one. Here's the next one, and here's the last one. And this is a find that Corey's friend found. That is, hey, Melissa. Um, yeah, I get that. I mean, you go to the store for 5 seconds, you spend more money, you know what you got, David. Um, oh, I hope you can find that so I can see the pictures of it, Corey. But that just literally while I was on live, David, I just got confirmation from Roger from Mud Fossils on. He goes, "Yep, that's a." He's almost 100%. That's a mud fossil finger from a giant. So I mean, that's really cool. That's really cool. So I mean, that's I love that, and the fact that it was just good timing all the way around. Um, but no, I mean, that was. I mean, I hope he sees some more. She is, Corey. Aussie Sue is really awesome. I checked her on her the other day. She said she was doing good. I'm just been kind of worried about her. I know she's not been as active as usual here lately. Corey, if you don't mind him knowing, I'll let you tell. I don't like to give out information I don't have permission to give out. I can tell you without giving a location away, unless he says differently. In all actuality, it's not too awful far from where I am. There you go, banks of the Oklahoma Red River. That's where it was found. So, um, but yeah, I mean, and apparently his buddy finds, well, this stuff finds his buddy all the time. So I was like, oh man, I was really stoked when I got to look in the pictures. And when I got home and actually had a moment to sit down and look at them, I was like, I'm wrong. I think this is a finger. This is a finger. This is definitely a finger. And so he'd asked me to send them to Roger and see what he thought. And I was like, man, Nick, yeah, I'll do that. I was wanting to do it anyways, because the man knows more about this stuff than I do. I'm just learning this stuff. This guy, the knowledge that Roger has on this stuff is just out of this world. I mean, he's definitely a good source to go to. Yeah, I mean, I find fossils all the time, Melissa. Um, he is a treasure, Corey. You're absolutely right. I find fossils all the time, but I don't ever find him in the condition that Corey and his friend does. So to find those, and Corey, thank you so much for letting me show or share that on the campfire chats today. I appreciate that. That's what this show's all about. But to find one in that pristine condition. If you guys have ever watched the show when Jesus Payon was on here and the stuff that he shared of stuff he finds, it blows your mind, man. It blows your mind on the stuff that they can find. I would love to find something like that out there. The thing is, I probably did when I was younger, and I was just not intelligent enough to know what I had in my hand. When you're young, you're not thinking, "Hey, that's a fossil." You're going, "Hey, that's a grenade. I got to blow up the enemy." Because that's what I did out in the woods and the cow fields and stuff like that when I was a young tyke. I was always playing war. I always knew I was going to be a warrior, so that's what I did, man. From sun up, sun down, I was cowboys or Indians or soldiers. That's all I'd play. It was always doing playing that stuff, and then it was fun. Growing up on GI Joe, I was going to be GI Joe by God. You know, I was always fighting aliens or something. So when I see something, I'm just like, grenade, throw it, kill the enemy, charge the hill. So good Lord knows what I found when I was younger, just didn't realize it. There's a lot of fossils along the Ohio River. We actually, actually, a lot of the rivers, yeah, and there is, and that's the thing too. That's what I love about rivers and creeks. People don't, some people who's really into this know what I'm talking about. Those who don't won't. You're going to find a lot of that stuff from runoff. Either A, when the snow melts, it finally eats it away, which puts it in a creek or a river, and it washes down, or B, the river changes and cuts into it, or C, with rainfall. So you're going to find a lot of good stuff in creeks and rivers and streams. You just really are because of them factors right there. I mean, look how many arrowheads you find in creek beds and river beds and stream beds all the time. I mean, even lakes. Yeah, floods. I mean, and that's what I was talking about when it comes to rain and snowfall, Melissa. You're absolutely right. Because every year that rains or the snow melts, it causes flood. It washes soil away and exposes stuff that's buried under the soil. So I mean, every year you can go to one spot, pick it clean, and about a year or two later, you're going to find more stuff. I mean, just wait till it rains real good or it snows real good and it melts. You're going to find something when the water calms back down. Sometimes it's further upstream and you miss it and you end up catching later. Hey, brother William. Damn, I think a few petrified things, one looking like a giant finger. I'll have to find that tonight. I know it's put somewhere safe because I don't remember I put it. Heck yeah. Did you see them pictures that Corey sent me, William? Were you on when I was showing them? But yeah. And that's the thing too. So I mean, I'll get lucky and I'll find something like that one day. Um yeah, I mean those were just that was just that's cool. But I really do. Thanks for sharing that, Corey. Um Jeremy was found arrowhead small. It'd be made by little people. Yeah, I mean, and that actually brings up a good question. I know this is probably more for the other channel, but heck, we're on it now, so we're going to go with her. We always hear about different size arrowheads. And they tell you a small arrowhead is for birds. And you got your larger ones, and so for different size for different size animals. Could be what we some of the things that we're considering bird arrowheads actually be little people arrowheads. Is that a possibility? Probably. I don't know enough to say yes or no. I mean, that's a good point, though. I mean, it could be a small person arrowhead. I do have a picture of yours I want to download and share. If you guys haven't had a chance on my YouTube channel, check out a video I made called Corey's Encounters. He's got some cool stuff, but I'm going to upload a couple of them here, especially with William in here at the moment on this one. I want that one. So I want to load four of these up real quick. So, um, oh, they were micro small, Corey. Oh, yeah. In a medicine bag that a friend of mine gave me, I've got a small one in there. I found Civil War rounds in the trees that had fallen over from the storms we were getting. Yeah, and that's really common, Ray. That is very very common. My problem was finding this stuff. It takes so long to train your eyes to look for. Yeah, and it is. You're absolutely right, David. You're absolutely right. So in Corey's encounters that I was talking about a little bit ago, um, one of the pictures he showed me, it was that right there, and he calls it an amulet. When I blew it up and I took this shot here, I'm looking at it and I'm going, I see two skulls, which there is a lot of history, ancient people from history would either A, yes, make magical amulets using skulls, or they were also used as a decoration. So I kind of talked about that in that one there. I used magnifying glass to see where they stuck it. Yeah. So whenever I was looking at that and I blew it up, I was like, man, that looks like two human skulls. And this is on the story of the manifestation he caught on his game cam. Now, the other cool one he sent me was of a storm cloud that was coming in. I'll let you guys kind of look at it. I know it's probably kind of hard to see, but I got a close up picture of what we're going to talk about too. So he sent me that, and he was talking about a thunder beam. So when you come into the one side, you get that right there. I had a hard time to sleep when I sent something in my house last. Oh, really? What was you sensing, Ray? I think Conan the Barbarian said something about skulls as decorations. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're absolutely right, Scott. Um, Giants are back. See the huge UFO over Ukraine. I didn't hear about that. I'll have to look that up, William. But this one here is the side of the storm front that he was talking about, where he saw the thunder beam. And then when I looked at the picture closer, I found something else. And if you guys remember the Thunderbird, look right over here at the. For me, it's the right. I'm not sure how it shows up on your screen. For me, it's on the right side of that light there. You can see the wings. Kind of looks like maybe possibly a tail and a body. I posed the question, could that be a Thunderbird? Considering both of these pictures was taken in a storm front. And from here, you can kind of see over on my, for me, it's the right, over that way. And the thunder being is over that way to my left. So that's some just some cool stuff over left. Yeah. Um, but no, if you guys get a chance to watch that video, I had fun doing it. Me and him talked for a few hours about his encounters and going over it because I wanted to make sure I had everything right. He's got some really good stuff. Juno sent me one. I've done Juno's Visitor. That was a good one too. Oh boy, peeking out. I'm trying to. You talking about the thunder being I was talking about a little bit ago, Corey? A presence of a shadow figure that was around just outside my bedroom door. Man said she had nightmares from. Mom said she had nightmares from it. So you had a shadow being, um, a shadow figure that was messing around with you last night. What you was awakened, or I was awakened by it. So this shadow figure that was messing with you and your mom, you felt the energy enough from it that you woke up. That is very interesting. Is this recent, Ray? Oh, you've had a lot of paranormal activity at your house. We've talked about several of your stuff. I'm taking it this shadow figure was a recent one. I remember right, you live next to the lake on Limestone. Okay, yeah, yeah, that's intriguing. I mean, and you got, I mean, on that, could you last night? Okay, yeah. So, and that's the thing about water and limestone. Water and limestone is a superconductor for paranormal activity. The energy alone, just from them two elements, and then you got them in two elements combined. It seems like when you have them elements around, or both of them combined, the paranormal activity is like heightened a lot. It really goes through the roof on that stuff. It is. That's what I was talking about. And so is water, Corey. So is water. And he's in an area that's got both water and limestone running together constantly. He's on a lake, and the lake's made from limestone, and everything under his house is limestone. So I mean, he's got like a freaking superconductor going on right there. And then on top of that, all the death from Native American side, French and Indian War side, Revolutionary Wars, the Civil Wars, and just all the death, just period in the area where he lives at. Man, yeah, I mean, it's no wonder he has as many paranormal encounters as he does. Because there's where he lives at. I'm not going to get into detail. If he wants people to know, I'll let him put it in the chat because it's not my place to say. I mean, we've talked about it before, but that was before. Um, but where he's lived at, there's a lot of history just in United States history alone where he lives at, and the places he's been, that he's lived before. They're just so. I mean, the amount of death and life that's lived in that areas where Ray's at. I mean, it's no wonder you have so much paranormal activity on there, and then you got all that on top of the limestone in the water. You got a freaking supercharger going on, pumping out all this energy. They're going to tap into that. So I mean, it's no wonder. But I mean, them shadow figures. Um, yeah, I remember you saying that. I'm trying to be real picky on what I say. I don't like to share too much. Without, I mean, granted, like I said, yes, I know we've talked about it on this show before, but I don't know how often you want that mentioned, so I don't like to mention it too often. Currently, I'm living in an area inside a Civil War battlefield. I mean, yeah, and that's I remember us talking about that before. I mean, look at the death that was just in that spot alone. Yeah, I mean, yeah, when using Maine, French, and Indian War, yeah. I mean, that's what I was talking about earlier. You had all that going on. You had the Revolutionary War was fought there too, and then you had the War of 18. No, War of oh my God, I'm brain farting on my history. Now there's been like three or four, oh, part by 4 or 5 different wars fought there, and just its little short United States side of the history, not counting the Native American. 1812, yeah. Man, I started once say 1806, and I was like, that ain't right. I think 1806 is when stuff started heating up, and then it boom, it just magnified. Minnesota, 1994 to 2013, right next to the lake. Yep. And Minnesota, that was the one that we was looking at when I done that Google Earth on your on the lake you was talking about. Ah, cool. So, I mean, a lot of these places that Ray's lived at has seen a lot of tragic history. Um, you had Native Americans that raided against each other. Then you had the whites come in and the fur trappers and the white wars and just God, piracy. Piracy was thick up through there. Um, Civil War. I mean, there's been so much tragic death and evil tendencies, I guess you could say, in them areas. On top of that, yeah, Berkeley Lake. Yeah, I remember that's the one I yeah that is that's the one I googled Earth and was kind of looking at it and but with that kind of death, that kind of hate, that kind of evil, and the fact you got water and limestone, it's going to absorb all that, and then that energy gets put out there. So yeah, you're going to see stuff like that. But I mean, with them shadow figures, I'd be kind of worried a little bit. Um, I mean, could it be something residual? I don't think so in this case. If it's peeking past the door, looking at you, you could feel the energy. I would say it's something more than residual. I mean, you do have some instances in the paranormal side where it's just residual, and that's leftover energy that's constantly repeating a routine that it did when they were living. A residual haunt. It's not intelligent. It's not malevolent, or It's not malicious. It's not none of that stuff. It's just an energy that's constantly repeating an action that was done quite often during the time of the person's life. Then you have the rest of the stuff, which is intelligent wise, and that's where you get both, just kind of like, hey, I'm here encounters, or all the way up to you, I'm going to hurt you encounters. Now, I mean, don't get it mistaken. People out there that don't do this paranormal stuff, they can hurt you. They can throw stuff. They can scratch you. They can push you. They can. The paranormal side can physically hurt you. So if you guys are going out there messing with this stuff, you have to keep that in mind. Yeah, and that's where like we was talking with about Melissa's and David's son last weekend. You need to get with like William or Dennis, and you need to try to get a blessing on the place. I mean, if you got a shadow figure doing that stuff, 100%. Me personally, if I had that, I'd be wanting to bless my home, and I'd be burning the sage. I'd be saying the prayers, getting a holy man out there. Either A, if you want to do on the Christian side, B, the Native American, whatever it is that the faith that you follow, go with that. But you also have to be careful on that end because you get a lot of frauds out there that just want some money. That's good, Ray. That's good. And that's one thing that I want to caution people on too, and I don't think we talk about it enough. You can have somebody come in and they'll tell you, "Oh yeah, I can get rid of it for you, no problem." Then they're a damn con artist. I hate to say it, and it really, man, it really irks me to have to say this, and this is the evil side of humanity here. They really don't give two craps about what's going on to you. They just care about the shininess of the coin, and that's all they're about. So they'll come in, and they'll fill your head with rainbows and sunshines, talking about all these great things they'll do, and they'll come in, do their little stuff. They're really not a believer. Most time, they're not even a believer. They're just like, these fools believe in this, and they're willing to paint it. So I'm going to take their coin and pretend that I know what I'm doing, and then leave. And you're still stuck with the problem. Some people may cause the problem be worse because that's what they're paid to do. So I mean, you have to be very careful on that stuff. So I mean, if you got a friend that's doing it, Ray, that's probably a better choice. Uh, what, dude? This whole time, and now you're wanting to give me a second, little needy butt here. Fine. Well, you should have stayed out there earlier. I can't just keep getting up and down because you want me to get up and down. Well, I'm not. That's it. You had your chance. Now don't be begging me to go back out the door because I done gave you a chance to go out. Come here. Sorry, he's yes, like the idiot in Beetlejuice. You're absolutely right, Corey. Hey, you're being rude. And that's good, Ray. That's a good option. You know, and I'll admit, sadly, when I first started learning about the gift that I have, I was young and dumb and thought I was, something that I wasn't. And I end up, what's a good way of putting this here? So I thought it was a curse for a long time, but it seemed to help people. And Roger emailed me Gets and glad you liked him. I wonder if he mistaken me for somebody else. Sorry. I was wondering if you had any more input on them pictures. Um, so he so whenever I'd go over there and I could tell, and I how's the best when you know something's evil, there ain't no mistaking it's evil. You can feel the evil resonate through your body when you know something is evil. When you know something is not really evil, kind of like it's still here. A lot of times they're confused of why they're still here. You pick up on that feeling too. And me, when I thought I had when I was first learned about it, I took it as a curse. You know, yeah, low vibration, Corey. Yeah, I mean that's good. You feel the best way that I can describe it is negativity. You can feel the negative energy in the air. The low vibration, however you want to put it. I always called it negativity. You can feel the negative negativity in the air, the negative energy, the negative vibrations. You can feel like it wants to hurt. Yeah. Um, and that's what I was kind of wondering, Ray. Yes, you can feel evil, absolutely. Uh, that's why I was kind of talking about. Yeah, it's probably you got to be careful on them shadow figures because describing the way you was talking that could have been taken that way very easy as it was a dark feeling. But I would go into a place thinking I'm going to help somebody out, and yeah, I helped them out, but I hurt me in the long run because well, that thing followed me, and I was always taught that the fear that you feel when it comes in there is not there. It's not your fear; it's theirs because they know what you have the power and ability to do. Um, that's what my pastor taught me when he set me down, talked to me about the gift of discernment. Um, Whenever he told me about it, that how it being a gift from God that everybody's got. Some people are more in tune to it to the others. I spent a long time trying to shut a lot of my stuff out because honestly, and it's probably a shameful way to put this, but it can become very overwhelming with everything that's out there. Um, so I've learned how to, at times, just kind of tune things out a little bit. Is when and people, if some people realize what all it is walking around us all the time, some people can't handle that. You know, like yeah, I mean, and that's exactly how it was, Corey. Like I was talking about yesterday, that dark time in my life, that dark period in my life when I was something other than what I am, when I became something different than what I am. Um, that feeling of having control over somebody by the fear that you cause them, that's a very negative energy. And sadly, I will, like I said yesterday, I keep that locked up and I keep that buried, but there's always that pull. There is always that pull towards going back to that. It's a false power, but it's a power, and you just got to be careful. So when I start feeling a lot of negativity around me, I've got to shut it out or I've got to go somewhere else because I just can't not let afford to let that beast inside of me out again. And that beast feeds off of negativity. So, like me and William was talking about yesterday on the when I was doing my book live deal, I was telling you guys a story about the Cherokee proverb where you have the white wolf and the black wolf, and depending on what wolf you feed is the one that shows itself to the world, and you can never starve the other one out. You're always going to feed a little bit to that other one. You just got to make sure that you feed the correct one. That's what I'm always trying to do. Always trying to feed that white wolf. I don't want to be that type of person that I was before. And I don't have nobody else to blame for that but me. I'm the one that chose to walk that path. I'm the one that chose to let that control me. So you got to be careful. And it's in the spirit realm. There's not a whole lot of difference. You got good and evil in the spirit realm too. So you got to be careful. Exactly, Corey, and that's what I try to do quite often. I try to do that quite often. One of the things I started doing this when I'm writing. So when I'm writing my books, I listen to Nordic healing or meditative music, and I listen to Native American music the same way. And I've noticed that when it comes to writing, I can flow, I can think, I can concentrate, I can do things so much better. Well, I've got to the point now where I like to listen to that when I go to sleep sometimes. I like to listen to that whenever I'm just sitting here trying to bring my energy back down to the correct level it needs to be. Um, you can have too much energy, which can backfire, and you can have too low energy, which will really, really hurt you. Um, Too much energy could backfire because you're constantly trying to, do something here and this and this and this, and you're running yourself in 500 different ways. And all you're doing is hurting yourself because you're not giving your chance for yourself to heal. I don't know what mine is, Corey. I have no clue, honestly. I don't even know how to check for that. I just go what feels right. And the two things that seems to calm me down and bring me back is the the Nordic meditation music and the Native American um, meditation music. You get that right frequency, that right tone, and this is the funny thing. So your heavy metal music. There's people who listen to heavy metal music and they come down and they're mellowed out and they're good. For some people, that high of an energy of music is what they need to level themselves out, to make them calm and productive. Me, it hypes me up and wants me to get ready for war. That's what that style of music does for me. I get to listen to that, and man, I'm wanting to go for a fight. So I try not to listen to a lot of that because it brings my level up to the point that I'm just like, Hulk smash. It just doesn't. If I want to come down to a good level plane where everything is running smoothly, for me, it's Nordic and Native American. What's the phase of the moon? I get a lot of paranormal activity during full and new moons. Well, that's because the energy coming off of that is at a higher level during full moons. So during full moons, like the theory always tells you, the werewolves come out in the full moon because of the energy that it expels upon the earth. One of the theories out there with paranormal is during a full moon, you not only, I mean, of course, you got the evil side of it comes out during a full moon. You bet your paranormal side of it comes out in the full moon. Your animalistic side comes out at a full moon. There's a lot of theories on that out there. I, for one, don't know on that. I've never really looked on the paranormal side of it during a full moon. My experiences have I seen a lot during a full moon? I absolutely have seen a lot of paranormal activity during full moon, but I've also seen a lot of paranormal activity during regular moon cycles too. I've not had enough experiences personally myself to say there's more during a full moon. I could be wrong though. I don't know. Just my experience, it hasn't been that way. Somebody more in depth on this will be able to tell you more. But but I can see it as being a high probability because of the energy that is released. You're drained during the full moon phase? I've actually heard of that before, and I cannot remember what they call it, what that is, what causes that, the theory behind that. I've actually heard that before. It's so funny, man. I remember growing up for years during a full moon. I was always howling at it because I wanted to be a wolf. You know, I was going to be this werewolf. Arr! I mean, I loved howling at the moon. Of course, for a very long time, up till just recent history, you know, my people, whenever it started getting a lunar eclipse, would howl at the moon because they thought Wolf was going to consume the moon. So you're drained during a full. Man, I've heard of that. And honestly, I cannot remember what that theory is. Okay, that's going to bug me. I'm going to have to try to look that up. I've heard of this before. I just have not really done a whole lot of work into it to know. So it says here when the intense energy of the full moon disrupts our sleep patterns, is led it can lead to feelings of sluggishness, fatigue, and energy. Let me click on that real quick. Yeah, yeah, it is. It is, Corey. Let me get back over here real quick. It says the common symptoms last 24 to 48 hours after a full moon. See, this can make it difficult to find restful and deep sleep, leading to exhaustion, fatigue, and nutrients. Uh, full moon hangover. Why couldn't I have remembered that? Daggone it. So you get a full moon hangover. As soon as I read that, I went, oh crap. Yeah. How I get it is bonfires and flame or a female wolf who would sleep outside my tent at night, gone by the morning. Huh. That's interesting. I've always had a very close connection with wolves, but I've had a close connection with all animals too. Really, I have a very good connection with animals. I've always have. Um, I mean, you do have them odd ones out there that you're not going to have a good connection with. But I mean, I've always had a good connection with animals. But I've had, I've told the story before. I can't remember if it was on my show or Williams, but when I was younger, I was homeless and a family took us in and they had a Missouri wolf that they rescued. And that Missouri wolf from day one was glued to my hip and it'd walk me to the bus stop. If there was a snake close by, he would stop me, go kill that snake, and wouldn't let me by until that snake was dead. And then he'd finish walking me to the bus stop, and then he'd wait at the bus stop till I came home from school and walk me back home. He would not leave that bus stop. I've always had a connection with them on that, but I mean, it's hard to say. For me, I've always, I can't explain it. I just always had a deep connection with wolves. I've had visions of a white wolf and a black demon wolf in battle. That could be that Native American proverb I was telling you about a little bit ago, and that's the struggle inside of you on which wolf needs to or wants to present itself. I guess it's to say you got to struggle. There's always a struggle between good and evil inside of us. That could be what that's about. I don't know. But every living person has that fight inside of them between good and evil. They always do. I mean, some of it for some people it's stronger than others. And, for some people who's traveled, a not such a what's a polite way of putting it, a righteous path, I guess you can say. I mean, that's good, Ray. Um, that's real good. The white wolf defeats the demon wolf all the time. The black wolf. Yeah, that's something you want. And that's something I strive for every day. I fight that urge every single day. You know, every single day I fight the urge of not letting a certain part of me back out. So, hey, take it easy, Corey. Glad you got to come in. Thanks for letting me share those. So that's cool. And then there's some people that has walked a different side of that kind of lifestyle that I was talking about earlier than what I have, and they've got even their stories are even um, on how their struggle is worse than mine. Mine was just filled with hate, anger, and a I can give a crap less about you type of mentality or myself. It's interesting, Ray. White wolf, two black spots, a shield, and a spear. I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong. Me personally, I think that it seems a lot like the struggle inside of you. But yeah, earlier when I got on, I was talking about I had that thing had been following me like a month ago, and I just think it's odd that I haven't seen my guest around here lately. Not even wildlife. I haven't even really seen wildlife around here lately. It's weird. Normally, I see all kinds of birds and raccoons and possums and armadillos and deer and turkey and everything else. And I mean, I'm not even. I got a squirrel that absolutely loves posing in front of my game cam. I'll get a minimum 10 hits a day on the game cam just for this one squirrel. In fact, the funny story is I got a buddy of mine. He's a brother. I mean, me and him's been friends for a very long time. Been through a lot of crap together too. And on his birthday, I actually got a hit of this squirrel pooping in front of my game cam. So I sent him the picture. Said, "Happy birthday! Here's a squirrel pooping." That's just kind of how me and him are with each other. John, my friend reaction was shocking when I spoke about it after he seen me in distress. Yeah. Laugh out. It actually posing as it can see its reflection in the lens. This squirrel was going sideways, going poop, and I laughed my butt off and ended up being my buddy's birthday last year. So I laughed, and me being me and how me and him are together, I was like, Sin, happy birthday, brother. Here's a squirrel pooping. But I haven't even seen that little dude around on my game cams. Like I'm getting 15, 20 hits a day on the game cams to go to my phone, but there's nothing there. There's absolutely nothing there. And that is very strange for my property. My game cams are placed in certain locations for a reason, is because those locations, I mean, I've got high traffic all over my property, But those 4 locations that I have my cams are the highest level of travel by deer and other wildlife. And I'm not even getting my little friendly pooping squirrel. Good. Good, Ray. You get that taken care of, buddy. Yeah. Uh, and I try to factor that in there as well, Scott. I mean, there has been some windy days, but even like now, there's no wind, and I'm getting pics, and there's absolutely nothing showing up on my pics. Like I'll show you, there's like no wind right now. Let's see if I got any more since I was on here last. Gotta wait for it to load up. There, all these hits, and I ain't got no wind today. Yeah, another one. Just absolutely. I don't know if it's going to show up on there or not. I guess it ain't. Yeah. Let me see if I can send this to my deal. I'll show you what I'm looking at. But I'm absolutely getting nothing at all. And then, like I said, today's a day that's it's not even windy. I'm watching now. I don't even have nothing blowing. There was some wind earlier, but there's absolutely nothing blowing now, and I'm getting hits. This is sending to my email. I'm waiting for it to pop up. But I'll go through and check this thing 4 or 5 times a day, and it's the same thing all day long. At night, I get a few hits at night, not much. Usually, it's probably half at night compared to what it is during the day. I know some people who had a similar thing happen, and they uploaded the image and found a cloaked Sasquatch looking like the cloaked predator from the wow. Okay, so that is sent. Now I gotta wait for it to load up. There it is. There we go. Download it. All right, open file. You're not gonna, I may have to. Okay, I'm going to have to send this to a deal. So let's send this to my pictures. Okay. Go in here to my pictures. And let me find where it went. Oh, that's why I got to get my pictures. I think it was that one. Waiting for it to load. Yep, it's that one. And this is what I get all day long. And then most of them is this view here from this camera. That is the view that I get most of the time. My other camera, I do get hits on it during the day, but it's not even half of what this cam is sending. There's nothing there. And that's a picture from the tree stand I like to rifle hunt out of. The other one is my bow stand that I like to bow hunt out of. But there ain't no fuzziness. There ain't no blurry. There's nothing. No squirrel, no coon, no possum, no armadillo, no groundhog. There is just nothing. And that's what I've been getting mainly ever since that one thing that was stalking me a month ago. Yeah, that's fine, Scott. Just send me your. Actually, never mind. I can do it this way. Here, because I can't remember if we're friends on my regular Facebook or we're friends on my authors one. Oh, never mind. You got it right there where I can email it. Okay. Okay. Give me a second here. Let me get into Compose. Oh, you don't have Facebook? Okay. Scott. Off grid. Go. Open that up. Go in here. Go to there. And go to there. And send there. And it uploads there. And it's sending and it's sent. All right, Scott, you should have it. Uh, let's see here. I don't get a lot of hits on my trail cams. Really sensitive, slight breeze, moving limbs enough. Yeah, and I've had my game cams in the same spot. Oh nope, I have sent it to the wrong. What did I mess up on? Huh. I've had my game cams at the exact same spot for several years. I've got hundreds upon hundreds of game cam photos of weird stuff I see at night and just the stuff that I'm looking for at night. I've got pictures on here that I just can't explain what the hell it is. I'll show you some here in a minute. But for some reason, I messed up on the name somehow. So I got to redo all this to make sure it's right. Oh, that's what I forgot to do. I forgot to add the S. That's it. We'll see. We'll see if it works better this time. So, I mean, so the win thing I get, Scott, 100%. But the thing is, the only thing that's different between past and now has been that thing. And with all that variables, with the wind, with everything that I've had in my cams being in the same spot that they've always been at, and there's, like I said, there's a reason why they're there is because of that's the highest concentration of activity I have in my woods. Address not found. So what am I doing wrong here? Back saying address not found. Um, you get a lot of artifact because of the trees in front of the camera whenever the wind blows and leaves. Detect if the moment of react, I would move the camera. But that's the thing. That's what I was trying to say, Melissa. I've had these cameras in the exact same spot. Actually, I can tell you how far back here because I keep everything dated on what date I get a hit on what when I decide to save it. Um, let's see here. Which ones? Oh, I gotta go to the video on that one. That's right, because these are on the video side of it. So I got a camera below it that 2019. So I've had these cameras in this exact same spot since 2019. Um, these here are the ones that I pull back in 2021. It's looking like is when I switched it from regular screenshot mode to camera mode. So I wonder, I might be able to load that up on here. Now this is a lower one. This is the one that I pull because the other ones don't get saved on my phone unless I save them. There we go. Oh, it won't let me do it. Not cool. Never mind. I can't show it to you. It won't let me transfer that over for some reason. Huh. But anyways, I've had these cams in the same spot for since 2019. And I've always gotten wildlife. Every single one of them. I mean, this one here is I would go through, it seemed like I'd get about somewhere between 4 and 7, depending on if it's a windy day or not. I'd get anywhere between 4 to 7 hits that was nothing on it. And then I would get several hits of wildlife on it. That is the common ratio. Like I said, it depends on a windy day or not. Windy day, I'm getting a lot more blank hits than not. So when I checked this one about 3 hours ago, I had 36 hits on it, nothing on them. This one here is 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 17 hits, nothing on it. Yeah, it's possible. It is. I can't dispute that, Melissa, one bit. It's just weird how this has only started happening in the last month. That's the only confusing part about it. This has all been happening for the last month. And it's all started around the time that I had that thing trying to mimic my dogs. And then that thing that followed me through the woods. Like this one here is usually it's got the squirrel posing in front of it, and he's not even there. I missed that little squirrel. That was my little pooping in front of the camera squirrel. I always called him movie star because he was always posing in front of my camera. All the time. This dude just constantly would pose in front of my camera. I would get 20, 30 hits a freaking day of this little dude posing in front of my camera. And I ain't even got a picture of him. I started to do the camera that looked at camera looks and that looks original camera to assure that every camera is covered by another camera. Yeah. So this area where that photo I showed you was I have 2 cameras in that area. That's my rifle stand area. I have one above and one below. So the one below is what I have to change the SIM cards out on. And that is the one that's set on video mode. I'm just funny like that because I like watching the deer run. I've got a video on here from this winter, and I can't share it because of the docu-series. I'll just wait. So apparently this one may have went to you this time, Scott. It hasn't kicked back. Um, I'll have to save that story for another time. But what is that one? And this one here, I'm don't know if it's paranormal or not. To me, it's just like it's a really odd pick, and that's what I got it under is odd pick. But it's so freaky of what it looks like that I was like, that's just freaking cool, you know. Oh no, it's not under odd picks. I lied. I'm mistaken. I started doing videos in 2022. Sorry, I read that wrong. I was just looking at something. Where? Okay. Did I put it in the wrong folder, maybe? Oh, I'm going to have to go through too many photos to find it real quick. Best way I can describe this photo is it looks like a freaking reptilian coming out of the ground. Okay, good. You got it. What is the trigger speed? How fast? This on the ones that I was showing you is automatic. It's a cellular based game cam. That one and the one I got in my field go directly to my phone. The other one, it takes a SIM card, which is in the location of that one where I took that picture, is there. Now, my bow stand on the other side of my property is where the other one is with the SIM card. No, wait, I lied to you. No. Cell phone, tree stand, rifle stand, cell phone, bow stand, SIM card, rifle stand, and SIM card field. Sorry. Yeah, it's these are the what brand is that? Yeah, I don't know. I just set it up how they told me to. Spy Point. It's a Spy Point game cam. I'd have to look at it. I don't get into it unless I'm replacing the batteries. And I flip a switch on and I flip a switch off. So I'll have to look at it to see what it is. But it's just odd. I'm like not even getting my little movie star squirrel. It's kind of depressing. It used to aggravate me because I was getting so many shits a day from this dang squirrel. Now I'm not getting none from him. Kind of miss him now. Little turkey butt. Get out there and poop in front of my game cam. Wake up in the morning, the first thing I see is a squirrel pooping in front of my game cam. Gotta love the critters. But no, it's weird, man. So I'm gonna have to do something. I'm going to end up having to change it. I was going to change it that day, last weekend when I was up there, but man, my knee was already hurting from climbing up there and getting to it. And I set this one kind of high because what I'm trying to do, I'm a firm believer when it comes to Bigfoot. So this I could talk about. I'm a firm believer in Bigfoot that they can see IR. And that's why you very rarely get them on a game cam, is because they can see that IR. So this one is setting up in the air, kind of pointing down, and the other ones are pointing another way because I'm hoping one day that maybe something runs past that camera and accidentally catches it. Because I think that's about the only way I'm going to catch it on game cam. So I've got one that comes down, faces down. I can see a little bit further out. Then I've got one down in the bottom of the valley that kind of faces up a little bit so I can catch the valley. So I got the top of the hill and I've got the bottom of the valley covered with cams. And on an average, 1 week, I'll get 60, 70 hits from deer in 1 week in that area. Yeah, I'll have to look at it. I just never really thought about it because I just turn it on, turn it off. Yeah, I've thought about that, but out here, especially considering what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks, whenever all this growth just explodes, I don't get enough sunlight in my woods for a solar one to work. That's why I didn't go that route. Out in my field, yes, that would probably that in my field I'll have enough sunlight where a solar one would work. But that's why I went with the battery operated ones, is because of that fact right there. 3 out of my 4 game cams that I have out are in the woods. So on an average, the 2 at my rifle stand on a 1 week, I'll get 50, 60 hit on deer. In my field, on an average for 1 week, I can get anywhere from 30 to 40 hit on deer. The one on my bow stand on 1 week, on an average, I will get about probably another 30. What the hell is that blocking my camera? Oh, it's a fly. I'll get probably another 30 or 40 on the bow stand one itself. So I go from getting, all these freaking hits a week to absolutely zero. Not even an accident, even with wind. Even if wind was playing a factor in it, in theory, you should get an accidental hit. With that many shots a day, you should accidentally get a hit of some kind of wildlife. That is because of that factor right there, is where I find it odd that I'm getting nothing. I'm not even getting an accidental hit. So, I mean, that's the theory with the wind and the limbs. I agree 100%. That's always a possibility. But I'm not getting an accidental hint of anything. It's all blank. It's all what I just sent you or showed you. That's all it is that. Not a squirrel, not a possum, not a coon, not a bobcat, not a cougar, not a wolf. I mean, I've got pictures on here of wolves. I've got gray wolves and red wolves that come on here. I've got pictures of wolves on here all the time. I've got plenty of that stuff. I'm not getting a single freaking thing, dude. Not even my rock star squirrel, my movie star. Kind of, yeah. But I mean, the cell phone ones are nice, Scott. And the problem I have with the cell phone ones is you got to pay for the plan. And I don't like that. If I buy more game cams, the only reason why I haven't, because I don't want to blanket my property with IR. That is the one reason why I have not bought more game cams than what I already have. Especially considering what you guys will see in that docuseries By Way of Bigfoot. Because of that, I've not put more game cams up out here because of the IR factor. Now, if I can find something that's not IR based, which I don't think there's any of them out there that isn't IR based. I could be wrong. As far as I know, there's none out there that's IR based. I'm not going to put any more up. So, I don't know. I've wanted to move these around here as well from where they're at because of this situation. I'm not really sure. I'll have to look, David. I'm not really sure. I know mine, if I remember correctly, mine is like a 0.2 or 0.02 reaction time. But I've literally caught a deer head, and the next shot is the body pick, and the next shot was the butt pick. So there's not, and it's the same exact deer. You can tell by watching the pictures. So there's not a whole lot of gap in between the pictures, but I'm wanting to say it's like 0.02 or 0.2 seconds. I don't remember. So I remember a 2. I remember that. I've had these things set for so long that I'm trying to go off of memory. I'll have to get out there and look. If I get, I won't have time tomorrow. I've got that bike show. I'm going to be working from 0800 to 1600, so I won't have time to do it tomorrow. I'll have to try to do it next weekend. I'll try to get out there next weekend and take a look at them. But yeah, I mean, I like these spy points, but I'm not a fan of the cellular side of it. They're handy in some aspects. I just don't like paying for service. So I don't get very many pictures because I don't pay for the service. So I only get like 100 pictures a month. So when your 100 pictures are wasted in 3 days, it's kind of sad. So then when I go out and pull my SIM cards that are in the same areas and there's nothing on them either, it's like, come on, dude. 4 game cams in 3 different locations and not a single hit of anything on any of them when I'm always getting hits on them. So, it's interesting. But like I said, I can't get into too detail, but that's the reason why I don't have more game cams out than what I do. And one of the reasons why I'm keeping them in this location and I think I talk about it in the docu-series, so I can't really talk about it now. If I don't, when I watch it, I'll explain it later on. But there's a reason why they have not left their area. There's just things that I've pointed out, and that's why I've not done it, because I don't want to ruin what I got going on, if that makes sense. So I'm trying to see what I can talk about without breaking. I'm trying to be careful, guys. You have to agree with me on that. But no, I mean, could it be wind that I'm dealing with? Possibly. But you'd think by now, with all these, photos that I get, that I would accidentally get a shot of something, and I haven't. Could it be what was following me and harassing my girls there for, last month? Could that be what scared all the wildlife and my guest off? Yeah, possibly. Especially if it's something supernatural like that I'm thinking it might be. Me and Williams talked about it a few times. I'm thinking possibly either Wendigo or Ghoul, and he's leaning more towards the Ghoul. Could it be an elder fae? Possibly. Could that be what I'm dealing with out here? I mean, my knowledge, though, as far as the mimicking goes, that's usually Wendigo or Ghoul that'll mimic. The other day, which is weird. Now, this is new. I forgot about this, actually. The other day, I was watering the grass, and it was nighttime, and all of a sudden I thought I could hear a female talking to me from the field. Not really directly to me, just like talking. The best way I can describe it is sounding like a woman just talking, not like the little girl that sings and plays down in my old place. This sounded like just a woman, out there talking, like she had no care in the world. I was outside watering the grass in February. You can catch my drift. So, that has been a recent one. That is something recent out here for me that has happened. Was that there? And she sounded like she was coming from the cedar patches. I know you can't see it, so I've got to try to. So straight east of me, which is my left. I don't know how it is on the computer here. I'm thinking it's right for you on the computer. Is my chicken coop, my center drive, and my cow pasture with a bunch of cedars. And she sounded like she was in between the chicken coop and a clump of cedars that they're talking. I believe so, David. No, she just talking, just chattering, Melissa. It just sounded like a woman out there just chattering away. Yeah. It was think it was probably Wednesday or Thursday night. Yeah, I think it was Wednesday night. I think it was Wednesday night when it happened. It was pitch black out, and grass needed watered, so I went outside to water it and was enjoying the cold air for a moment because I was having a really hot flash. Guess I just got like really, really hot. I just got really, really hot. The fan wasn't even cooling me off. I got so hot. So I was like, the grass needs watered. So I went outside and soaked in that cool air. It was bringing my core temperature down, and just heard a girl out in my cow field just talking. Didn't hear no other voice. It was just hers. Just she was just talking away. So when I finished watering the grass, I turned around, came inside, and didn't come back out because I was like, with what's been going on, I ain't taking that chance. And then what was it last? Was it last Saturday night when I was on here? No, a couple weekends ago. It was during DA's show. I had to take off, and I was sitting there talking. I was like, "Oh, I got to go. I hear something," and because me and the dogs heard something walking up, kind of quick walking up my ramp, and my ramp is right outside my office window here, and I couldn't see nothing. So me and the dog, because the dogs heard it too. They got up, was like, "Oh heck no!" So me and Thor, which Thor's my pit bull, me and him go outside to look, and he stands there at the top of my porch and just kind of look around. He's like, "Man, I know I heard something, but I didn't see it." And I stepped out that door and was like, "I don't see nothing." I was like, "I am not stepping off this porch." I just, what I told myself was like, you get that feeling like you better not do something. That was the feeling I had. My feeling was I better not step out from underneath this because my porch has a roof on it, and the feeling was I better not step off this porch out from underneath that roof. Not yet. I'm rebuilding my. I've got to tear down my fence, cut everything out. When I left in '99 to go to the Marines, my brothers left and nobody was here to help maintain the farm, so Dad let it go to waste. So the last couple years, I've been working on cutting the cow field back down. I've almost got it cleared out. I've got it probably 70% cleared out. Now I'm also tearing down fencing, and I've got to cut my fence row back out again because cedars and everything else and sumac and everything else has grown up in the fence rows. So I've got to cut them out, and I'm going to come in. I talked to one of my neighbors. He does fencing. $250. He can put me a steel corner post in on each spot. So I'm going to have steel corner posted all four corners. I've got enough telephone poles out here that I can cut 8-foot sticks, bury them 3 foot in the ground, leaves me 5 foot above ground for gates. And then also in the center of each side, I'm going to put I'm going to put one of them telephone poles, and then the rest is all going to be T-post. So I'm going to make this fence solid where I don't have to mess with it a whole lot. So between doing that and tearing the old chicken coop down, which I've got a subframe built, I've got to build another one because I got a wild hair at my butt and got the subframe built. It's like I want to make this 2 times bigger. So now instead of being 10 by 10, it's going to be a 10 by 20. So now I got to build another 10 by 10 subframe so I can butt them up together. Build a new chicken coop, new chicken pen. I'm going to redo the chicken pen, redo everything, which most of mine are free range. But with these new dogs, trying to keep them from killing chickens is kind of difficult. So I'm trying to get everything. Yeah, sumac is a pain. Sumac is such a pain, Melissa. It really is. Sumac is a pain. But sadly, the last couple of years, I haven't even been able to go out camping. I haven't even been able to ride my motorcycle a whole lot between back issues, knee issues, and my hands. And then I've been sick a lot more than usual lately too. I finally got that ablation done on my back. I'm doing better. I'm able to go out and do more, which is why I've got a lot more of my field cut back. Got a lot of it cut back last year. I spent the summer, clearing that out, trying to get. So I've got good grass growing in there now. Deer absolutely freaking love it in my field right now. I am considering that. I've done that in the past, Melissa. I have got, if they still work, I still got a couple big electric fence boxes. So one of my ideas is actually running a strand below and a strand above, and running a two tier electric fence system. The issue I have with that is because I have a lot of deer that run my pasture. A lot of deer run my pasture. You can see paths right in my pasture where the deer go. I know exactly where they come from what location, what time of day they're usually come through here. I've got it. I mean, between my cams, visualization, and the paths, I know where every bit of my wildlife is going to be at what time. I can bring somebody here, set them up, and within 30 minutes, they've got at least one deer dropped. I know my woods very, very, very well. I never spend more than 30 minutes in the wood, and I've got deer dropped. We'll leave it. I ain't going to say how many. I've got deer dropped. I'm dropping a deer. If I'm out in the woods more than 30 minutes, something's wrong, because usually I can go out there within 5 minutes. I've got deer in sight and I'm dropping it. I know where my deer are. I know when they come through. I spend all year watching my wildlife. I maintain my woods for my wildlife. I maintain my property for my wildlife. I depend on the wildlife on my property to sustain me through the year. I hunt and gather this property, so I mean I know when something's out of place. I know about it. You know, I can tell you what deer's what. I know what deer's come through here, what doesn't. I know about how old they are. I know my deer. Uh, they should be able to clear it easily, but the problem is, Melissa, the one thing it doesn't is your fawns. Your fawns will be the ones that have the issue with hitting that electric fence, because they can't jump like the adults can. Adult deer, you're absolutely right, 100% will clear the fence. A fawn and a yearling, a fawn won't. A yearling depends on their confidence level if they can or not. But yeah, I mean, I know my wildlife and what comes through here. I even know when my bear comes through here. I've got a bear that comes through here about every 6 to 8 months. Usually, it did not come through last year, and I've not seen it this year. But I have a black bear that generally comes through about once to twice a year. Last year, I did not see the black bear at all. So that's my problem with the electric fence is that there, because I do not want to discourage the deer from my property. And you get a baby deer zapped by electric fence, they have a tendency to want to stay away from that spot. So, but no, I maintain my property not just for me, but for the wildlife out here. I'm very big on animal husbandry on my property. My property is just not for me; it's for the wildlife too. And if I want to sustain off the wildlife, you have to think that way too. And that's a big problem when people move out to the country. Especially city slickers. When a city slicker moves out here to the country, their biggest damn problem is it's like I'm in the country, so I'm a country person. I'm going to do this. So when a good old boy like me goes, hey, you might not want to do that, and that city slicker goes, screw you, what do you know? I don't know. I've kind of lived out here most of my life, if not all my life. So I mean, I kind of know what goes on out here. They have the mentality that they know more than you do because you're just a dumb hillbilly. And then all of a sudden they're faltering 6 months to a year later and they're gone because they couldn't make a living at it. They don't listen to the people who live on this land, who live off this land. And that is a big problem with a city slicker when he moves out to the country is they think they're so much smarter than a country person when in all reality they're not nearly. Their smart level ain't even on the same comparison as ours. You go to the city, it's going to be different. You go to a city slicker's got more knowledge of a city and how to survive better in a city than a country bumpkin like me does. I mean, that's just how it is. So they'll come out here and they'll do all this stuff and they'll change all the property up. Well, I'm going to do this and I'm going to make it look like this, and which usually leaves me in a confrontation with them. Yes, I do, Melissa. I try to keep it that way, very not just for my personal, reasons for survival, um, but because it's like I said on William's show this morning. God created us to be shepherds of the earth. That is the other aspect why I do it. And then you can go on the Native American side if you want to too, and it's respect. They're my brothers and sisters too. Do I hunt them for meat and substance and all that other stuff? You're absolutely right, I do. But they're still my brother and sister too. So I live in one. I live as one, as a. We're all part of that great circle of life. The animals, the plants, the humans. We're all in this great circle of life together. The great circle. We're all part of the great circle of life. So yeah, I'm going to do it. Like when I cut trees, I'll burn. If I got 3 brush piles, I'll burn 2 and I'll leave 1. I always leave at least one of the brush piles, unless I don't have very many on the property that year. Then that's a different story. Really, it depends on how many brush piles I have on the property for that year. If I have enough to sustain it for a healthy number, every 2 out of 3 brush piles I burn and I leave 1. Then folks just don't stay in the city, and I will stay. The problem is, Melissa, is they come out here to country, wanting country living, and they turn it into city living. That is where me and them kind of butt heads quite a bit. It's like, this is not the city. If you want to live in the city, go back to the city. Leave the country the hell alone. But they come out here and want to change it to city life, claiming that they're country. You're not country because you live out here. Country's here. Country's not this. Country is here. You got to live it, breathe it, eat it, sleep it. I mean, the other stuff I can't say because I'm on YouTube. You have that is living. You live with the land. You live one with the land. That is country. And that's how I love it, man. So I always practice very good animal husbandry out here. And that's why I have such a high number of wildlife on my property, is because I do that. Like I'm getting ready to get with the Missouri conservation guys, because I got some trees that need to come out to allow the younger generation to grow big and strong. If you don't keep that, if you don't, if you don't manage your woods properly and you let it overgrow, then the old will kill the young, and there will be no young to replace the old. Yeah, dang city slickers. Yeah, it's an interesting deal. Especially a certain group from a certain state when they come out here. That is always very fun. Um, but yeah, and you got to practice that. So I'm getting with the Missouri conservation guys because I need to get some forestry guys out here, because I've not been able to cut wood like I used to with my back and knees the way they've been. That my woods have gotten a little out of control. I've not been able to maintain my woods like I usually do. So I'm going to have them come in and take some of these elders out, which, that money is going to go right back into the property, and, well, property and wood stove. Um, so I need to get that back. I need to get some of them old out to let the young grow. And that's a common mistake people have in the woods. People who live in the country never, ever, ever, ever consider this. Your old trees will kill your young trees. Your young trees cannot grow big and strong like they're supposed to when they're constantly in shade of the bigger elder ones. When a tree has reached its point in its life where it's time for it to come down, you take it down to allow more sunlight for the younger generation to grow. If you cut off the life force of the younger generation of the trees, you snuff them out. When the older ones do go, there's no young to replace the old. So you have to keep that cycle going. That's very important to keep that cycle in your woods going, of the right amount of young to old. You got to keep the correct amount. If you do not keep that correct amount, you will ruin your woods. The other issue we have, and this is kind of an old timer farmer deal, is they buy land and clear cut the crap out of it for cattle land. I'm not doing that. I've got about 2 acres out here that I can throw 1 to 2 head of cattle on. That's all I need. I need 2 cows at the most. One for my freezer and one for a savings account. It always tickles me when I hear people that move here from North Virginia complaining about the smell of the country. Oh God, yes. Yeah. Yeah. It would see, okay, so the funny story about where I literally live out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, DA even knows the area I live in. I live out in the middle of no freaking where. And people think I'm joking. We used to give directions. You come down Blacktop Road till you come to this church. You turn over at this church direction at this church. You follow it down till you see this Y. You take that Y, you follow it down when you see the T and the big old stump out in the middle of that cow field. You turn in this direction to that T. You follow that around. You'll come down the hill. You come up a hill. You go around this little curve right here. You follow her on down till you see the damn soap bucket. When you see the soap bucket on the fence and there's this kind of soap bucket, that is where you need to go. Literally, that's how we gave directions for years out here. We didn't go by street names. For a long time, we didn't even have street names. We were a rural route. You know, that's how it was out here. And I still, to this day, give directions like that. I still, to this day, do not remember all the street names out here because I'm so used to doing it a certain way. It's how we done it for years out here. But I live out in the middle of freaking nowhere. And for the longest time, you never seen brass. And for those you don't know what the term brass is, I really don't want to get into that on YouTube. Let's just say you don't see tin brass out here, no, or you don't see brass or a little tin object out here. When I was growing up, if you did, we'll just leave that alone. You just didn't see that out here. If you came out here and you started crap, there's a reason why most everybody had hog farms when I was growing up. You just didn't do that crap out here. I had a 1-lane road, and Herb Mallard used to brush hog it because he ran his hay trucks up and down it, so he didn't want to burn everything down. Because in the center of our driving, our little road, literally grass would grow tall. County didn't maintain it that much. So literally, you if it wasn't brush hogged down, you'd have grass taller than your tractor down the center of your road. That's how it was for a very long time out here. Now, when I left and came back, a bunch of city slickers moved in, and a lot of the woodland got cleared out. And what's funny is 98% of city slickers who moved out here didn't even last a year. There's only a very few of them left out here. No, actually, there's one during that time frame that's still out here. Everybody else has done moved on. Hey, Roxanne, how's it going? That is where I live. So when I say I live out in the boonies, I literally live out in the boonies. We was talking about this one day. I'd shared it with DA before. I think may have shared, not bad. I may have shared it on this one here. So in the the mid 90s, we used to have a very big fight with conservation, a huge fight with conservation, because Missouri conservation would tell you that there is no cougars here, and which we were replied, you're full of crap. Not only have we seen them, not only have I had them stalk me from a cliff ledge, we have game cam footage of cougars out here. So mid 90s, we had along the Niagara River, off of W Highway. We had a bunch of livestock that was being killed. You can tell it was a big animal that killed it. It was their front of the throats ripped out. The rib cages were ripped out. Their bellies were ripped open. They were ate out from the inside. I mean, it was pretty, and there was a lot of it. There was a lot of livestock, horses, cattle, sheep, dogs, a lot of livestock that was killed out here. in that 1 year time frame. I think it was around 95, 96. I think that's when it was. Somewhere around 95, 96 time frame is when this happened. So us, and this is before I learned a lot more on this cryptid side than what I know now. Back then, for us, we're telling conservation it's freaking cougars doing this. Yeah, there is, Roxanne. You know, and what's funny too is I literally almost got in a fist fight with the conservation guy over this shit because one thing when that guy tells me I'm just telling a story and I'm full of what's poo, I'm full of poo. Is that poo? You know, I got a little pissed. Of course, this was back when I was younger, and it was not a very good time in my life. We'll leave it at that. I almost got in a fist fight with the conservation agent over that because he said, "There is no cougars here. You're full of poo." And I was like, "We literally just followed one coming to see you. It was running down 38 highway in front of our truck. We had a 74, 75 international pickup. The thing was running down 38 highway right in front of us, running about 40 miles an hour. I remember because I'm looking at my dad, and my dad's looking at me. He's like, "That's a freaking cougar." And he's like, "Yeah, that is a cougar." And Virginia says that we say our mountain lions are actually bobcats. That's their story in our state. Yeah, well, we got bobcats here too, but we got cougars. Yeah, they're full of crap. So we chalked that up to them animals, all that livestock being brutally killed as cougars. Well, they were telling us it was bull mastiffs. It was a pack of bull mastiffs going around killing all these livestock. Bull mastiffs is not going to run in pack, for one. Two, unless they absolutely need to get up and tear your face off, they're not going to get up and tear your face off. So for us, we were saying cougar was killing them back then. Well, then I got to learning more of this field, and I got to realizing, yeah, exactly, Melissa, exactly. I got to realizing, wait, a cougar always attacks from above. So it grabs the back of the neck, it suffocates or snaps the neck of its prey. These were having their fronts of their throats ripped out. You're seeing huge gashes down the rib cage. Their bellies are literally ripped open. And then I find out later on that there's actually a lot of dogman reports along the Niagara River. And I didn't realize that. Of course, like I said, back in the mid 90s when this was happening, I didn't know about all that stuff. That was all new and foreign to me. I didn't know. So I wonder now. I wish I could see the photos that from back in that time frame. I really wish I could see the photos from that time frame because I really want to know now. Back then I was 16, 17 years old. I mean, I didn't give a crap about that back then. To me, it was cougars. Now I wish I could see the photos from when that stuff was happening because I really want to look into it and go, could this have been something besides a cougar? Could this very well have been a pack of dogman that run through here? Because this was all along the Niagara River. And if you know the stories of Niagara River and dogman travels the Niagara River. So the possibility, the fact that, a lot of things add up to it. A, the livestock was killed along the Niagara River. And B, how they were killed would leave it to a very good possibility that it might have been actually dogman that came through and killed all them livestock back in the mid 90s. I need to figure out if there's a way I can, if they even got them photos. I don't know if they did because conservation was blowing that crap off. They were constantly blowing that off. Now, I mean, they used to tell us too that we had no wolves. Wolves in Missouri are extinct. I'm like, you're full of crap, dude. I've just seen one the other day when I was out there with out there deer hunting with my black powder rifle. I used to hunt with a 50 caliber CVA mountain stalker. Then I got a 54 caliber Springfield Hawken. I love the shit out of that. Now I got a 50 caliber Beartooth Magnum breakover. I love black powder hunting. Depending on how shallow my freezer is depends if I take the 7 mag out or if I take the black powder rifle out. That's why I love bow hunting and I love black powder hunting, because you only get one chance with black powder or bow. That's what I love. And I rarely come home empty handed. It is very rare that I come home empty handed. I'm not bragging. I just know how to shoot because my belly depends on it. My child's belly depends on it too. So I can shoot. So, and that's why I find this weird, is because now I'm wondering, like I said, even I should have even at least gotten an accidental hit on some of this stuff here. And I'm not even getting that. I'm getting literally nothing. I'm getting all these hits, but not even an accidental hit of an animal. You'd think I'd get at least a coon or possum or armadillo or squirrel. I'm not even getting that. So that's why I say whenever I notice my woods are weird, there's something strange, because my woods are not what they normally are. Oh, I mean, could it be what it was? Could be. Could it not? I don't know. I'm hoping Ray is getting that little issue of his taken care of. He said his friend was coming over, so I can't wait to hear a story on that. Anybody else had anything happen to them here in the last week? I mean, for me, it's been fairly quiet. Besides those, things I talked about with the lack of wildlife and guests, and then that woman talking out in the middle of my field, I never could figure out where she was coming from. And it's funny too, Melissa. I never thought about that. It's funny you talk about bobcats. There's a huge difference between a cougar and a bobcat. I've had bobcats come up under my tree stand. There is a huge difference between bobcat and cougar. I've noticed that. It's been one of the common themes, David. It really has been a common theme the last 3 weeks. I still like to know what that girl was talking about, man, it really does have me kind of wondering, especially with what's been happening around here. Yeah, it could be part of that thing that was mimicking hunting me. I don't know. Could have been just a specter. Yeah, probably. It's hard to say. I didn't get a look at it. I know that day I was out watering the grass, I sure as hell didn't want to come off. Not the day I was watering grass, but the day that I heard that lady talking out in or that thing walking up my ramp, when me and Thor stepped out, man, and I stepped out my door and I was about to walk off that porch. I was nope. I turned around, came back. Thor looked at me and goes, "Yep, me too." So when a pit bull turns around, comes inside, right when you're coming around the side, it tells you something ain't right. He went out there and he was all, how pit bulls are. Oh, I'm going to eat your face off. You're messing with my daddy. And he looked around like, there ain't nothing here. I know I heard something. Yeah, of course, you can probably figure the conversation we're having. Dude, are you smoking something I don't know and it leaked over to me? Because, I got to keep my job. So you can't be smoking nothing around me because I kind of need my job. And he's looking at me. He's like, dude, I thought you were smoking something, man. Pit bulls. Gotta love them. So, okay, that was quirky side of me came out for a minute. You get bored some days. You can have conversations with your dog. It's pretty funny. Hey, man, the cat came out here the other man, and I caught that little dude getting into the stash, man. He found that stash. Look at him. Little dude's like freaking out crack or something, man. He's like going everywhere. Some days you get bored, and that ends up being what happens. They can, Roxanne. You're absolutely right. That's why when I noticed how he was acting out on the porch, and the fact that pit bulls, if you don't know how pit bulls are very stubborn. They are the autistic child of the dog universe. I am 100% a believer a pit bull is an autistic child when it comes to dogs. Yeah. Mine do too, Roxanne. Trust me. Yeah. I have fun with my dogs, man. Me and my dog and my cats, we mess with each other all the time because I'll come up to him. I was like, "Hey, Vato, what you got going on, Holmes? And then I'll pretend I'm my dog or my cat. Hey, man, like, this is pretty spaced out and far out, man. Yeah. I have fun. And then all of a sudden they're attacking me and licking me. He's like, you're having conversations with me. I love them. Then you got my shadow. Yeah. My shadow's right here. So it's funny. It's funny. But yeah, no, I'm very attentive to how they are. Especially considering that he walked out, he looked around, like, I know I heard that, and that ain't here. And he looked at me, and I looked at him. I'm like, I'm not stepping off this porch. And I opened the door back up. He goes, I got your 6, dude. I'm going in with you. And we both came in at the same time. Normally he's out there. He's like, he's hunting all over the place. What was that? I don't know. I heard that. Blah, 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 blah. He went to the end of the porch. He stopped. He looked. He was all of his muscles were bulged out. He's like, something ain't right here. We came back inside. It's considering a lot of reports too, is they've been known to be on the roof waiting. The fact you heard something take 4 steps up my ramp and you didn't hear nothing at all. And I get that feeling I don't want to go off my porch. I don't want to go out from underneath the roof of my porch. I'm going to listen to it. I'm a fluffy dude. I can hold my own, and I'm a screamer. But even I will know when I need to turn around and go back inside. So I tell people that all the time. What happens if you get attacked by a Bigfoot? I'll tell the Bigfoot, I'm a screamer. I might pee and poop my pants. You're going to have extra flavoring when you eat me, but by God, I'm going to scream before you do it. So that's just how I am. Now, I laugh about that, but Lord knows what I'd do in that situation. That one day I had not been on a high alert like that in a long time, not since my time over in the big kitty litter box. Yeah, I'm not at the damn stage, but I'm not far from it. I'm still at that fluffy stage, but I'm not far from the damn. Yeah, that's me. But that day, when I did that video, when I talked about it with William and them too, is I had not been on that heightened of a alert since my last time of being in the sandbox. And honestly, that's what I knew. It's like I told you guys before on that show. What it feels like, and I was being hunted. I knew I was being hunted. We're over that 2-hour mark, guys. I want to get some things ready. So I want to talk about a few things real quick. So once again, do not forget March 15th, Byways of Bigfoot's coming out, the docuseries that I'm a part of on Linda Eastburden's YouTube channel. If you are interested in watching that, go to her YouTube channel right there at the bottom and follow that. Keep Jesus in your prayers. He's doing a lot better. I've been keep talking with him. He's doing better now. If you get a chance, follow him on YouTube on his Breaking Discoveries or Breaking Bigfoot on YouTube. Very good one. Don't forget my good old brother, William Nighthawk. Keep him in his prayer with what he's got going on. Make sure you catch his show tomorrow. I will not be on his show tomorrow. I'd have a bike show and swap meet to raise money for the children at the Shriner Hospital. Here in a little bit, the show I'm getting ready to hop onto and listen to, because I love listening to this show, is my dear good friend and brother, D.A. Roberts. If you go to, he's also a fellow author, damn good author. If you want some good reads, his cryptid horrors are one of the best, if not the best. Hey, Juno. No worries, brother. So here in about 50 minutes, you go onto YouTube, look up DX Machina, and you follow D.A. Roberts on there. And like always, everybody, if you would not mind, please hit that like, subscribe, and share. Let's get that out there. Let's get this information out there, and let's have fun. And if you guys are ever interested, every single Saturday at 5 o'clock Central Standard Time is the Campfire Chats with Eric and Guest. This show is for you guys. This is where you get to come in and share your encounters and let us talk about it. You can share it in the chat. You can share it on live video. I'll send you a deal where you can come in. This is the non-formal side of my podcast. You guys are always welcome. And man, everybody comes in here, and yeah, I do too. I just got one of it. I just got his Blood Eagle book in. But if you get, everybody comes in here, chats. I appreciate the heck out of you guys. I love it. We have a great time doing this. Tomorrow night, unless something happens, I should be done with the bike show and swap meet before 8 o'clock when I do the Bizarre and the Unknown show. And I will be talking about Bigfoot. I cannot get into very much of my side because of the docuseries. So I highly recommend when the docuseries comes out, Byways of Bigfoot on the 15th of March, to watch it. And you'll get to see this fluffy guy tramping through the woods acting like what I know what I'm doing. I'm just a hillbilly in the woods, y'all. I'm going to be real with you. I'm a hillbilly in the woods. I'm pretending like I know what I'm doing. I'm just sitting in the chair right now. That's about my knot. No, I'm just kidding with you. And it's good. It was fun to make. I didn't get to do a whole lot this winter because of injuries and sickness. So, but the first part of Byways Bigfoot will be out. Tomorrow we are going to talk over some about Bigfoot to get ready for the release of Byways of Bigfoot. And for everybody interested out there, you can find my books on Amazon as well. Oh, I went the wrong way on my deal. Now I got to refigure. There it is. You can always go to Amazon and find my books at E.D. Testerman on Amazon. If you find one of my books, you click on my name, it will give you an option to follow me, the same as DA. If you go on, you look at DA Roberts on Amazon, you'll be able to find his books. And you follow him. Anytime he releases something or I release something, it will let you know when we release a book. Also, before I forget, and I have forgot this the last couple of weeks, so if Jesus reads this, I apologize, buddy. Mr. Jesus Payon Jr. himself is also an author now, and he has a book out. And I've got to get a deal on that so I know. I forgot the name of the book off the top of my head. I will have to get that so I can put it up here. So if you get a chance to find his book on Amazon, look that up too. I've got to get my hands on that as well. So you guys, it was a blessing and an honor having you guys with me tonight. And I love the stories. I can't wait to hear what happens with Ray's deal that he's got going on right now. Corey, if you watch this later on, thank you so much for sharing the mud fossils, and thank you for allowing me to show that on this show. If you guys missed it, watch it from the beginning. Corey's friend had found a mud fossil of a fossilized giant's finger. Very good, very awesome. I may talk to him. We may do a video on that, or I'd like to get him on here one day and let him talk over it. So, y'all, like it's always, I wish you nothing but peace, love, and blessings. And I'll see you guys tomorrow night if everything works out right.